Some shows don't need a celebrity narrator to introduce the show, but this show does. In a world filled with endless opportunities, why would two men who have built 13 multi-million-dollar businesses altruistically invest 5 hours per day to teach you the best practice business systems and moves that you can use? Because they believe in you, and they have a lot of time on their hands. They started from the bottom. Now they're here. It's the Thrivetime show starring the former U.S. Small Business Administration's Entrepreneur of the Year, Clay Clark, and the entrepreneur trapped inside an optometrist's body, Dr. Robert Zoellner. 2 men, 8 kids, co-created by 2 different women, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses.
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Mr. Clark started from the bottom, and now we're at the top, teaching you the systems to get what we got. Colton Dixon's on the hooks, I break down the books. The seeds bringing some wisdom and the good looks. As the father of 5, that's why I'm alive. So if you see my wife and kids, please tell them hi. It's the CNC up on your radio, and now 3, 2, 1. Here we go!
We started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom and we'll show you how to get here. Started from the bottom, now we're here. We started from the bottom, now we're here.
Yes, 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 and yes, Dr. Z, we are in the air everywhere.
I love it.
And if it's okay, I have created a website for everyone to follow along now as we do these business shows. Starting this year, we're going to make it where everybody can go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire. So thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire.
And they have to hold their hand up like this when they say millionaire.
Millions.
Millionaire.
And when you go there, you can download a free ebook copy of the book that we're teaching from, A Millionaire's Guide, How to Become Sustainably Rich. That's the book. You can download it for free.
For free?
For free.
How can we afford that?
Well, we have an online school where people can pay $19 a month for continuing ongoing education, and the podcasts are free. And that's how we do it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to go to page 2 of the book.
Let's do it.
Page
that's
2.
the book.
This is the book. We're going to page 2 of the book.
The book.
So everybody can be following along with us on the same page.
That's fun.
So here we go. So page 2, I write here, mathematically speaking, if you want to become a millionaire by the age of 40 and you start working at the age of 20, you'll need to save $136.98 per day, 7 days a week. And I'm writing this book to teach you how to become a millionaire, but we're going to require everyone out there to do their own math here. Okay. So I'm going to ask the question, and I would like for you to provide a little color commentary.
So that
we can all kind of connect to it, okay?
Okay.
Because what was your first job en route to becoming a millionaire?
My first W-2 job.
Yep.
Other than the hustle around the neighborhood, I was 13 years old, and I was the daytime dishwasher at a Mexican restaurant called Chiquita O'Brien's.
Where you wash the heck out of those dishes.
I mean, you give me a dish and I'll get it clean.
So these are the questions I want everyone to ask, and I want people to write down your own answers.
Write it down.
Page 2, you can download it for free at thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire. So question number 1 is, what do you want your net worth to be? Let's talk about that.
That's so important. You have to know what the target is. I mean, if someone said, hey, let's go practice shooting a gun or bow and arrow, and there's no targets, and you just be like, yeah, just let it rip. Just let it rip. You got to have a target.
I'm going to say what my goal at first was, I just didn't want to have to think about the price of every item every time I went to every store. So my first goal was to be $100,000 I have $100,000 total to my name that I earned on an annual basis. I'm not talking about 100,000 saved yet. My first goal was just to have 100,000 a year that came in, and that was a big thing for me.
I remember when that was one of my goals.
It was a big thing for me.
Yeah.
To go, okay, so so I would just encourage everyone right now, what do you want your net worth to be? Now, the second question, this is where you lose a lot of people, not our listeners, but you lose some people, is how many days are you willing to invest in becoming a multimillionaire? How many days? What do you mean, how many days? Well, for me, I like to work 6 days a week. That's my flow. And I like to take the 7th day off. That's what I like to do. I like that. Somebody else says, I want to work 5 days. Someone says 4 days. See, you used to work every day.
Yeah, when I first started, I worked 7 days a week for about the first 2 years,
And I think a lot of people, though, they want to start the successful business, but they don't want to work 6 days a week.
Oh, I know.
Or even 5.
A young man approached me. He wanted to open up a kind of a higher end clothing store for men. It was kind of a men's swag place, you know. It's kind of cool.
Very
You go in there,
binary, I
they
think.
offer you. They offer you a beverage. That, you know, it's kind of all looked like a man's cave, you know, like a man cave. So I, you know, went in there and he was like, "Man, I know you're successful. I'd really like for you to help me out." And I'm like, "Okay, we'll do lunches every now and then, just whenever you need, you know, some advice or whatever, some mentoring." So I remember we went to lunch one time and he said, "I've got a big problem." I said, "What's your problem?" He goes, "Well, I have an employee that's stealing from me. They're letting their friends come in and get free clothes. They're taking money. They're taking free clothes, and I had to fire them, and it's hard to find help." And I go, well, yeah, well, tell me a little bit more about that. And they go, "Well, you know, it's on Fridays and Saturdays." And I go, "Well, why aren't you working Fridays and Saturdays?" He goes, "Oh, no, you don't understand, man. I don't understand. Those are leg days, bro. Those are leg
days.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about this for a second. This is real stuff that I see people do on a daily basis. They have all these roadblocks to their financial freedom. I see it a lot, and I'm not trying to attack anybody out there that's married to a socialist, but I see that a lot, where like the man's motivated, but his woman, they never talked about these things before they got married,
right?
So the guy's like, "I want to work, but you know, my wife doesn't want me to work because it's like the week of Christmas,
right?"
And Christmas is coming up quick on Sunday, and Monday is a full 7 days before Christmas, and I just can't work that week.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what?
What?
And they go, because it's the lead up, the one, and then
I gotta get prepared.
And then we got New Year's, and I just kind of, those 2 weeks are kind of the dead zone for me.
Yeah, they're a no-go zone.
Now the thing is, Thanksgiving was also it was tough that week, the whole week.
Yeah.
And then, you know, with Halloween, it's a big thing in our house, you know?
I had a dentist approach me one time, and he said, it was kind of a compliment. He said, "I want to be the Dr. Zoellner of dentistry." And I said, "Oh, well, that's, okay." He goes, "Can you help me achieve that?" And I said, "Sure, let's sit down and talk a little bit." And I said, "First of all, what are your office hours?" And he goes, "Well, we're open Monday through Thursday. We close at 5. And I'm not open on Fridays and Saturdays and, of course, Sundays." And I said, "Well, I'm open 7 days a week. I mean, I don't work 7 days a week now currently. I mean, we have a lot of different staff." I said, why wouldn't you be open those other days?" "Oh, no. You don't understand. My weekends are that's my go time. That's my, you know, that's my time
for me.
I got to recharge my batteries, you know, because dentistry is difficult." I said, "Well, why don't you have at least one day you're open late?" "Oh, no. 5 o'clock. My hind's out the door."
Now you and I both never had a hard time putting in the work. However, a couple of things that were different is you prefer to get your extra hours in, or did prefer to get your extra hours in during the evening.
Yes.
And I prefer
I'm a night owl
in the morning.
You're a morning lark.
And usually if you were at the peak of your late night planning, working, you would be going to bed at the same time that I'm waking up.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it is. So we cover the world that way.
But I'm just saying,
one of us is awake at any time.
But this is an important conversation for someone to have, right? To say, how many hours a week am I willing to work? What
it really
day?
kind of offends me when people say, you know, if you don't get up early in the morning, you will never make anything of yourself. And I'm like, that's not, no, it's that there's 24 hours in a day. You choose the 12 to 14 to 16. If you're an entrepreneur and you're starting a business, that's what you're signing up for. You choose those hours you want to work. And don't let anybody tell you that if you're not getting up at 3 a.m. and eating raw eggs and doing 1,000 sit-ups and walking the dog by 3:30, then you're not going to be successful. That's not. I'm living proof that's not. Besides, I don't like raw eggs. But
now, again, what we're doing here is we're teaching you how to become sustainably rich. We're teaching you how to do it. Okay, we're walking you through, and sometimes some of the stuff we're going to say might seem a little bit uncomfortable, but we're giving it to you. Okay, step number 3. Okay, you got to figure out how much money do you plan on saving every day. Like you have to ask the question, how much money do you have to save on a daily basis? And for me, I remember it was so liberating to go, I only need to save $136.98 a day.
Bingo.
That was big for me.
That was big.
That was big time.
Big time.
The math.
By the time you're 40, think how much if you save twice that.
There you go.
I mean,
so these are things that we could all do. Now, step 4, you got to figure out what problems do you plan on solving AKA what services and products do you plan on offering in exchange for the millions that you plan on earning? I see a lot of people that we feel like, I'm a child. Let me just follow the logic because we're in Tulsa.
Yep.
People say, I'm a child of God.
Yeah, amen.
We go, that's true, because in the
That's
Bible
true.
it says that.
That is
Okay,
true.
and it's like, and God has not. Nobody is made by error. God doesn't make mistakes. Yeah,
that's correct.
And we're like, amen.
Yeah, amen.
And they go, therefore,
thereunto,
I'm going to be rich. And I'm like, no, see, that's
hey, here's a concept. When people really struggle with this, they go, why do bad things happen? Why am I not wealthy? Why am I not? Why is my business not crushing? What's going on? And I'm saying, well, you didn't follow the steps. I go, what do you mean? God loves me. Why would he let me fail? Why would he? And I said, listen, do you drive a car?
Oh yeah, baby.
Do you drive a car?
Oh, I would drive a van. White van.
You drive a van.
Oh yeah, baby.
That's the definition of a pervert, I do the van.
Out of here.
Okay.
It's a beautiful van.
Oh, I know it is. It's fabulous. And does it run on gas?
Yes.
Okay. Well, what would happen if you put diesel in there?
Well, it'd get the kind of, you kind of hear the engine kind of putter a little bit, sputter, and then it would just implode.
Right. Does God love you?
Well, yeah.
Well, why would God let that happen? Why would he let you have your van get ruined? For some
reason, people make it's like a weird spiritual money thing.
I know, but you've got to follow the steps, is what I'm saying. You got to follow the steps, And if you don't follow the steps, if you don't put gas in a gas car, you don't put diesel in a diesel truck, guess what? They're not going to run at their optimum. They're not going to even run at all.
Can I tell you a story? It's a true story. It's a little bit wild.
It's a truth bomb.
Yeah, this is scare me. It's a quick story, but it's true. Okay, back in the day, years ago, over 10 years ago, there was a couple guys that were going to a church group, and the church asked me to come speak.
Okay,
and I show up at this church group, men's group, and there's over 100 men attending. And the title was "How to Become Wealthy."
Oh, okay. Here we go.
I was like 26, 27. I thought, I'll teach them how to do it. So I was one of the speakers.
What could go wrong?
And I said, okay, what you want to do is everybody out there, how many by show of hands already have a business? So about half of the hands went up because it's a business conference.
Sure.
And I said, okay, so what you're going to want to do is you want to write down a list of all the problems that you can solve for your ideal and likely buyers. So define your ideal and likely buyers.
Yes.
And the problems that you solve. Okay, so we do that. Okay. Now you got to figure out how many customers do you need to have per year in order to hit your financial goals. So, one guy writes down 4,000 customers, one guy writes down 400 customers, whatever. And we're doing all this on a whiteboard and it's good energy. And I said, okay, now, so for every one new customer you get, you typically have to have 100 rejections from your ideal and likely buyer. So if you want to get 400 deals, you probably need 4,000 people to tell who are your ideal and likely buyers.
Right.
So if you're selling landscaping services to soccer moms, you probably need to talk to 4,000 soccer moms, market to them door to door, and then you'll find 400 that say yes. So there's got to be some math there. Maybe it's 40,000 you need to reach out to get, but you got to figure out, do you reach out to 100 before you get a yes, or 10 before you get a yes? But you need to, and I'm teaching, and then the hands go up. Question. I feel like God is holding me back right now because I'm having a little bit of sin in my life, and it starts going spiritual. Okay. And I go, I'm not a pastor. I can't address that, but I can tell you this. I've met some very, very terrible people.
Terrible.
Who are the worst, who are so rich because they know who their ideal and likely buyer is, and they solve the problem for the ideal and likely buyer, and they market to them. Hand goes up. Now, from a biblical perspective, is it ethical to advertise in the way you're talking? Because I know if someone knocked on my door, I would be offended. And I'm not kidding. And I'm going, no, listen.
Yeah, like I said, what could go wrong?
If you knock on 100 doors of your ideal and likely buyer, one will say, you knock on the door. Hi, I'm a landscaper. I'd love to earn your business. In the first month I work with every client, it's just $1. I'd love to earn your business. If you make that pitch to 100 people, one will say yes. That's how you do it.
That's how you do it.
And this other person goes, question. I feel like God doesn't want us to force things.
Yeah.
And I'm going, what? And these were real questions.
Oh, I know.
Because I had previously at that phase of my life chosen to not be around church people.
Yeah.
I couldn't understand it at all. And then if I go speak to like a heathen group, like a group that's like nobody in there is a Christian at all, they'll go, I knocked on every freaking door.
I knocked on every door. I tell you what. And I came back and I said, I'll make you tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make you a deal. You can't refuse.
Can't resist it.
Tell you what, do you own a horse? You want its head in your bed?
Like, you know what I mean? When the whole side is
So now let me get up there and re-roof your house right now. Start it
and
right
I
now.
watch these people there. I'm going, okay, so what'd you do, sir? I knocked on all the doors, but no one answered the door. So I
just kicked
kicked
them
in
open.
the door. I went in the house and I got it.
Ransacked it.
No, and so you find the secular world is whatever it takes to make $1. But I find a lot of the wonderful Christian men they would just kind of like almost sabotage their own career by over spiritualizing the nature of having success.
Yeah,
and I just think you got to
follow. That isn't.
Have you noticed it?
Yes, I have. I have noticed that, and I've spoken, to many of these Fellowship of Christian Businessmen groups,
right?
And it's it's like they're their own limiting membrane, and they find a reason to not be successful. They're trying to put that diesel in that car engine, and it's just like, dude, it's not going to work out like that. Here's the steps. Here's the step. That's why we love mentoring. We love one-on-one mentoring. You can only do so much of that a day. That's why we started the online business school. That's why we do this podcast, because we don't want you learn by mentors or mistakes, and mistakes are costly. And you don't want those.
And I encourage everyone, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaires, you can download this content. You can follow along on the same page. We're on page 2 right now. So we move on to the next step number 5. You have to figure out how much profit do you plan on earning per service or product that you offer.
This is so important. I was talking to a young lady that owned a restaurant, really a cafe, but we'll call it a restaurant.
Yep.
And I went in and I purchased an acai bowl. Okay. I think I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I said, how much does it cost you to make this? And she looked at me and she like a deer in the headlights says, I have no idea.
And even just the idea of mentioning it to some people, I'm not saying this person, but to some people, just even talking about the math, they immediately go, I don't do math. I'm more about the vision.
Right. We just want it to taste good.
I mean, you hear that a lot, though.
That's our number one item we sell. And I go, well, what's your number one item you make the most money on? Let's start there. I mean, what item, like at McDonald's, what their number one item, what they make the most money on at McDonald's?
Probably the supersized stuff.
No.
Okay.
I guess you could, it's their iced tea. Iced tea is so inexpensive to brew, and they charge whatever they charge for it, $1 or whatever. They make the most percent profit on that, on that.
So let's talk about the different businesses, get very specific. If you go to tiptopk9.com, that's a business that I'm involved in. It's a dog training company. Okay?
I'm going to use them soon. I just got, I got a puppy for Christmas.
I saw that beautiful dog.
I know. She's so
And by the way, the
fun.
Pyrenees that you recommended to us,
I know.
have been doing
great. I know. I just saw them out there camped out when I was.
That's great.
I know.
Seriously, it's a great deal.
Why didn't you rent a llama for today?
Why didn't I rent a llama for today?
I mean, we're planning on renting a llama for the next retreat here. Yep. So I'm like, if it's that easy to do, why didn't you have a llama here to greet me? Because it's been a hot minute since I've been here.
I feel like if that's what we need to do.
Well, I'm just saying.
You spend a lot of time with a llama. They're great guys.
You're going to rent llamas for strangers, and here I am. I'm practically like I'm your spiritual father and mentor, best friend.
Well, I tell you this.
I'm probably your only friend, but I'm your good friend, and you're going to have it out there for strangers. You can rent a llama for them, and you won't rent a llama.
I feel like what you're doing right now is you're bringing up facts, and I'm willing to consider those facts.
I'll be like Biden. I say, no, we take the truth before facts. We take truth over facts. What did he say? Something ridiculous like that. We use the truth of not facts.
Let's talk about this stuff. You go to tiptopk9.com and you go there today to find a dog training service, or you go to drzoellner.com. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you go there because you're looking for an eye exam,
we don't train dogs
in
my office.
This is big though. This is big stuff. Because again, if you're out there listening today, you got to figure out what kind of profit do you make per customer? And I'm just being very clear. If you go to tiptopk9.com, the average transaction is about $1,700 to $2,000. Okay.
To train a dog.
Now, a very good friend of mine reached out recently, and he's a longtime listener. And he said, I want to have a custom trained a certain kind of dog, like military grade dog. And I'm going, that's going to be some more money. He goes, I get it. I've done some shopping around, but I want to use you guys. So there's different price points. But if somebody goes up here to get a pair of stylish glasses and they're looking for maybe Ray-Bans or Nikes or all different products, you know what your profit margin is.
Well, heck yeah, I do.
Why do you know?
Because then I can price it accordingly. See, pigs get fat, hogs get butchered. When you're too greedy, that's actually one of the one of the pillars of my industry that got him in trouble. And what happened was this, is that back in the day, long time ago, back before we got what we call commercial optometry, right? Like Lens Crafters and iMart and Vision Works and you name it. What happened was that optometrists would charge very little for their eye exam. And then they would charge a tremendous amount for a pair of glasses. They may have $10 in the pair of glasses and they're selling them for $500.
Right.
Well, the industry, people from the outside looking in going, wow, I could do that for half of that and make a lot more money and sell a lot more. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so what happened was, instead of charging for the thing that couldn't be replicated for our services, which is what they should have done, and then been very not greedy on the glasses part of it, it allowed this whole industry to pop up. There's opticals wherein people can now get glasses, and then now all of a sudden it's this, commercial optometry became, so big.
Now let's think about this. If there's busyness or there's business, okay? Busyness, you spell it BUSYNESS, and there's business. And people that do not understand how to run a business, they spend their time just doing busyness. So you can still get the same logo and the website and the print piece, not make any money.
Right.
We're talking about how to run a business for the purpose of you, the listener today, becoming wealthy. All right. So you've got to figure out, okay, how much profit you earn per customer. Again, I'm just give you another example. Elephant in the room. It's a haircut chain that I own. Okay. We have 5 locations, 3 of which I own, 2 that are franchises. If you come in to get your haircut, guess what? We make about a 20% margin. Okay. So if you come in, you pay $40 for a haircut, guess what? I'm going to keep about $8. And someone says, you're gouging people, man. Gouging. Someone else says you're not making enough, whatever. But I know the numbers. We got to know the numbers and we move on. So now you got to figure out step number 6. How many products or services do you need to sell to your ideal and likely buyers in order to achieve your financial goals? How many? And see, I'm not asking for the number, but I'm just going to say this for elephant in the room. We have approximately 4,000 haircuts that we need to do a month for me to achieve my financial goals. And I'm not.
Is that in all 5 stores? Or
between our 3 stores.
Oh, between your 3 stores. Okay.
It's about 1,300 haircuts per store I need to do per month to hit my goals.
Are you open? What days are you open?
6 days a week.
Okay.
So, and again, so
how many is that per day?
Well, I track it on a more of a weekly is how I do it.
Oh, okay.
So I guess if we were looking at per day, 220 a day?
Yeah.
But I mean, so I look at that number and every month I want to see how many haircuts did we do. And I have to see that number be about 4,000. But there's a certain number I have to do just to break even.
Right.
Because you have the expenses of running a business. For your optometry clinic, focusing on that business for a while, why do you have to know how many customers you need just to break even and how many you need to have to achieve your goals?
Well, you have to know that because if you don't, I mean, you're at the end of the day, you're kind of just swimming in. I mean, like for instance, I probably say it a little easier with my auto auction, Z66 auto auction. I know roughly how many cars I have to sell every week. And I know once I start selling the next car beyond that, it's profit. You know what I'm saying?
Got it.
So it's kind of like, the first 350 cars, for that week. That's not the number, but I'll give you an example.
Yeah.
And then 351 profit, 352 profit, 353 profit. That's why they call it Black Friday for the day after Thanksgiving, because technically most businesses have everything that they sell from that point on is their bottom line net profit for the year.
Right.
So it's important to know how many you need to come in on a daily basis. You got to break it down. And then that way, if you don't have enough, you got to, guess what? You got to step on the gas pedal. That's advertising, right?
Yep.
You got to step on that, or you know what? You got to come out with a no-brainer deal. You got to come out with a purple cow. You got to come out with something, get people in the door. And obviously, when you've had a real busy day, you've reached your goal, right? If everybody's like, oh man, it's so busy. And then, when you could fire a gun through there, not hitting anybody, it's like, uh-oh.
And I know I'm just giving people examples, but right now, if you go to timetofreeamerica.com because you're wanting to come to a Reawaken America Tour event, people come to these events and they go, dude, the optics were so, people will say this outside, people will come to me and they'll go, man, it was so full. So let me just pull up. This was Branson during peak hours. You were at Branson. Let me just pull this up here. So let me hit play. Here we go. A little bit loud, coming in hot. Here we go.
Coming in hot.
So this is Branson. We'll see a couple crowd shots. We had 90-something streaming partners, so we reached about 1 million people were watching online at the peak. And then we had, the attendance of the actual place. Kind of look at some of the crowd shots here. Let's see if they can see where it was peak full. So that's like peak full,
5,000. How big was the thing? 400 to 500?
Well, the way it works is our venues, I have to sell at least 4,000 tickets to break even. And I figured this out about 4 or 5 events into it.
Mm-hmm.
So when we did the Florida event, we did in Tampa. Let me see if I can find, this is a Tampa. Let me do Tampa. Let me do, oh yeah, here we go. So this is General Flynn addressing a massive crowd of people in Tampa. This was, this event, we had like 8,500 people. And I was so excited about this crowd, the size of the crowd, for a lot of reasons. One is I wanted to reach a lot of people and tell them what was going on with our country and our planet right now.
Mm-hmm.
But also, I recognized, you know what? I'm not going to lose money. I mean, so we're looking, and I was like, "What's the attendance here?" Because I want to know. Look at that.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful.
And that was, again, that was about 8,000
And you had
people.
to build that structure, right?
Yeah. Well, Rodney Howard-Browne was going to build this, but not then. And he rushed construction, and it got done just the night before.
Oh, wow.
So it's just big enough. But anyway, so, but I knew the math. So as we go to some of these events, and when we're going to, where are we going? To Nashville on January 20th and 21st.
Mm-hmm.
And when we go there, a lot of people will say things like, man, it's the energy here is awesome, or we love it. But if we're not over 4,000 people, we're not breaking even.
Yeah.
Because that's because we let people name their price for those events and how it all works. There's some VIPs that offset it. But anyway, I know the numbers. And so every entrepreneur that you can't not know the numbers. And that's one big thing that you really did a good job explaining to me and many other young entrepreneurs is knowing the numbers. And I just don't want anybody to get super excited about this topic of, how to become rich and not know the numbers. You got to know the numbers. Now, the final couple steps here. Step number 7, and you taught me this. What will you do with your time once you've achieved the financial goals you have?
I remember when I first asked you that, we were sitting on my back porch.
Oh, you stumped me.
And I asked you that, and you look like, you look like a kid that was going in for a chemistry test, did not even know that he was in chemistry class. And and had no idea there was a test, had no idea what it was being taken on. You just were like, what?
You asked me, you said,
there is an end to the grind.
You said,
I'm like, yeah, the grind becomes less.
You were like, hey, once you hit your goals, where do you want to be? And I was like, well, I want to teach other people how to grow successful companies. You're like, yeah, that's good. But for you.
Yeah. Remember, I added, you had the F5 and I added the famous.
My goals used to be
F6.
faith. I used to define success as you have to determine your goals for faith,
right?
Family, finance, fitness, friendship. And that was it.
And that was it.
And then you said,
and I remember when we first started, 4 years ago, talking about the F5. I mean, this has been a hot topic for a long time. Yeah. I said, what about the 6th one? That's the most important one. And you said, what 6th F would I even care about?
Yes.
I said, fun. Yeah. I know you are a workaholic. I know you enjoy the grind.
I do.
You really do.
I like it.
And that's inspiring. But there's a day to celebrate. There's a day when when you cook the pig. There's a day when you put the little apple in, you cook it, and you have a luau, or you have a party, and you celebrate. I mean, think about it. If you won a championship in a sport, and then you walk to the locker room, maybe just sitting over there in the locker, just kind of getting the clothes and getting in the shower, and nobody saying anything.
Hey, let me show you the reverse of what you're. Let me show you the reverse of what you're talking about here. This is hilarious. Okay. So I'm gonna pull this up, and someone says, "Why don't you have premium YouTube?" So I get banned on YouTube all the time. Okay. Yeah. But this is Bill Belichick, and he's doing a huge parade. And because the Patriots had won another Super Bowl, the crowd's going nuts.
Just another one, yeah.
And they give him the mic, and they're like, "Bill, what do you want to say to the crowd?" And listen to what he says, and watch the reaction of his teammates. Watch this. This is great. And the crowd, they're all off of work to come to the parade.
Like nobody.
And everyone's like, "Is this a chance?" Is this a Joseph Stalin rally? These people are like,
oh yeah.
These guys are like, we can't even make eye contact with people. Like, they don't want to look out in the crowd and see someone they know. They're like, watch them. They're like, don't make eye contact.
Don't make eye contact.
Just close your eyes. Yeah. Don't look at.
The wife's sitting out there. The audience. I thought we were going to go to the Bahamas next week. Well, the opposite of that. You've got to. What are some goals? What are some things that you want to do? Maybe it's travel. Maybe it's buy a particular car. Maybe it's you have a dream home or dream vacation home. I mean, there's something out there, and I think it's good to mentally think about that and visualize that and just enjoy it. It's good, happy thoughts. That's a fun question to ask somebody. If you could go anywhere in the world right now today, you had to go somewhere for a vacation, which I know you're not going to go tomorrow, but if you had to go tomorrow, where would you go, Clay?
Backyard, my backyard, baby. I'm loving it right now.
No, you've got to leave the state. You've got to leave the state. That's so close. That's just barely outside the state.
Branson.
Okay, all right, Branson.
It was a great time in Branson.
Branson.
Or Mena, Arkansas. Have you been to Mena?
No, I've not been to Mena.
What's
I know.
Let me pull this up. Let me say on Mena, Arkansas. Okay, first off, nobody's going to Mena, Arkansas. Okay.
Right, well, do a little advertising.
Well, I love this place. I was just there about a couple months ago. Look at this is Mena. No, this is the kind of thing you see in Mena.
Oh yeah,
it's very normal for Mena. This is. So let me drop in.
Mena normal.
So there's a lot of mountain. Look at this. Ooh. Can I
lush greenery?
Can I drop in the man? Let me drop him in. This is the lovers.
Drop him in.
The lovers lookout.
Now be careful because he could hurt himself if you drop him in.
Here we go. Oh, come on, let me zoom in. Oh,
where'd he go?
Come on, here we go. We got him. Dropping him in.
Dropping him in. Drop the man.
Ooh.
Oh, look at that.
I love that. Look at that.
Wow.
Look at this.
Mena. Yeah.
I love it. Seriously, look at
running
that.
Man now.
This is kind of where I think I'm going to be spending a lot of downtime. Mena.
I
love Mena.
Is that the secret locale?
This is what, look at this.
Oh, yeah. Lovers Lookout.
Look at it, dude.
Who doesn't like Lovers Lookout?
Come on. It's so great. We got a little cabin up there. We stayed out there. We rented a cabin from somebody we know, and it was like very foggy every morning.
Mm-hmm. And
it's just nature. Look at that.
Is that the foothills of the Ozarks? Is that still considered Ozarkian hills?
I don't want to misspeak. I can't say if you want to add a little energy. If you're saying I have all that solitude, I need some more energy. I need some more excitement.
There's a big Walmart I saw.
What you could do is go to Acorn Shooting Range and don't announce your presence.
Ooh.
And just run out there.
And
see if anyone gets you.
Yeah,
that'll get you excited.
Yeah, like Matrix. Go out there and dodge the bullets.
So now the final point I wanted to hammer on again is kind of a rehash of point 2 a little bit, but you got to figure out how many hours per week you're willing to work. Because I think a lot of times people don't want to get down to the brass tacks of how many hours. So my wife and I, we figured out a flow where we're going, okay, so let me put my calendar for today, just so people can look at it. This is my calendar for today. And someone can judge it and go, you don't have life balance. Someone else will look at it and go, that's awesome. My final work thing, I try to be done consistently at 6:30. That's just what I like to do. So I go, boop, 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 6:30 p.m., boom. Yeah. So that's my thing. And you look here, you got the schedule, date night with the kids. I'm very intentional with my schedule.
Yeah, you have to be. Because if you don't schedule it, everybody else will schedule it.
So let's talk about, I'll give you the final word on that. As we're talking about how to become sustainably rich. We're talking about business growth on this business podcast, where we're talking about business. We're going to teach you during the coming weeks and months everything you need to know to start and grow a successful company. And again, if you go to thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire, you can download the book for free. So you're following along. I think it's a great way. You got kind of a training tool there. And again, you can just thrivetimeshow.com/millionaire. See, why does everybody have to figure out how many hours per week they are going to work?
Well, you have to really be real with yourself. I think what happens is that society, as a general thumb, they always glorify, they always shine the light on the end product.
Yep.
They always, hey, this is cribs, we're going to go. But they don't talk about the early days when the dude's living paycheck to paycheck. Even if he's got a paycheck, he might be living out of his car in Nashville trying to get a, record label deal, and he lived in his car for 6 months. It's the early grind, that early, the long hours, the people saying no to you, all that.
Yes.
But what we want to do in society, we want to celebrate the end. So a lot of people focus on the end, which is good. You need to know what you're shooting for, but then you also need to know how much in the mud are you willing to get day one, and be realistic with yourself, because that's going to limit how fast you grow, even if you get to where you want to go.
Yep. And
like I brought up already a couple of incidents or situations that I was talking about earlier, people that are like, well, I don't want to be open more than 4 days. I'm like, well, then that's going to be a limiting membrane.
Right.
You can't be Dr. Zoellner of dentistry if you're not wanting to work more than later than 5 o'clock or any Fridays or Saturdays. I mean, that's just the way it's going to be. You're going to limit yourself.
So if you're out there listening today and you say, well, what's some ways I can benefit? If you go to thrivetimeshow.com and you click here on the business school, you can join our online school for $19 a month. Also, we have in-person workshops. If you say, I'd like to go out to one of those and, learn how to start and grow a business, you can do that.
And probably look at a llama.
Well, the llama budget might be spent on you. I mean,
I don't know.
So
I don't feel a lot of llama love right now.
We're going to end today's show with a boom because success requires big, overwhelming, optimistic momentum. And without any further ado, here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom. All right, Thrive Nation, check it out. We have our business workshop. Our 2-day interactive business workshop is taking place here February 2nd and 3rd, right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. February 2nd and 3rd in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And we have just under 35 tickets remaining for this. Now, I know you know me from the Reawaken America tour, and that's what we're doing. But I do business workshops, and I've been doing them for over 10 years. And I do them every 2 months. They're very interactive, and we have over 2,000 client success stories that you can see right there if you go to thrivetimeshow.com. This 2-day interactive business workshop is hosted at my office in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's a 2-day interactive how to grow your business workshop where I teach you everything you need to know to start and grow a successful company. I have built several multi-million-dollar companies, and I'm going to teach you how to do it. So if you want to know how to do the marketing, the branding, your accounting, your sales, your workflow, search engine optimization, online ads, everything you need to know, we're going to include that for you. And the way I do the tickets is you can pay $250 for a ticket or whatever price you want to pay. Why? Because I grew up poor and I know what that's like to have zero income, but to have big dreams. And having big dreams with no income, I get it. So sometimes you need a help, maybe a hand up, not a handout. We're here to give you that hand up. And so at the Thrive Time Show workshop, let me tell you what you get here. You get practical, step-by-step business training. It's a hands-on business workshop. It starts at 7 a.m. and it goes until 3 p.m. From 7 a.m. to 3 p.m. each day. It's very interactive. It's a 2-day workshop. We're going to teach you how to create businesses, how to launch businesses, how to scale businesses. We're going to teach you the step-by-step systems you need to implement to grow a successful company. We're going to teach you how to everything you need to know, but there's no upsells in the back of the room. And why do I do it? I do it because you deserve it. B, I'm very good at it. And my partner, Dr. Robert Zoellner, and I, between he and I, we've built a lot of successful companies. I've built Oklahoma's largest men's grooming business, independent, privately owned men's grooming business called Elephant in the Room, which that website is eitrlounge.com. My partner, Dr. Robert Zoellner, has built drzoellner.com, the largest independent private optometry clinic. He's built Z66AA.com, Oklahoma's largest auto auction. We've coached up and built up home building businesses, home flipping businesses, gold and silver companies. And let me just show you. If you go to thrivetimeshow.com and you click on the testimonials button, you're going to see over 2,000 testimonials. Look at this. The attorney James from New York, we helped him grow his business by 79.4% last year. The Flyover Conservatives have grown their podcast by 16,000%, which is a large percentage. The Platinum Pest, it's a pest control company. They've grown 411%. Shaw Homes has grown from 16 million to over 160 million in sales. Someone says, you don't have to sell me. I get it. No. I'm going to give you more. These are just testimonials from the past few months. We've got Kirsten White, a home decorator. She's grown a home design and interior design business. She's grown her business dramatically. You've got here Placid Ojoku. He's a fitness, a personal trainer instructor. He's grown his business dramatically. You got Dan Knapp. It's an affordable insulation company. He's grown it dramatically. Tyler Hallblade, let me tell you his story. He went from a startup to $10 million plus in sales. His company's PrimoTrailers.com. BarbieCookies.com, growing the business dramatically. Joe Burby with Back to Basics Builders. And someone says, no, I don't need any more. No, you need more. We have over 2,000 testimonials. So you can get those tickets by going to thrivetimeshow.com. That's thrivetimeshow.com. And you click on the conferences button. And once you click that button right there, boom, you can see where you can request tickets. And these events take place in Tulsa, Oklahoma at my home office. So again, get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com. My name's Clay Clark. After I finish connecting with you, speaking with you, I'm going to share with you a brief little commercial so you can see more about the interactive 2-day Thrivetime Show workshops. Again, we have just under 40 tickets remaining for that. It's going to be Tulsa, Oklahoma, February 2nd and 3rd, where my very good friend, John Lee Dumas, the host of one of the largest podcasts in the world, he'll be attending this event as well. It's the EO Fire podcast. That's John Lee Dumas, my very good friend, John Lee Dumas. I've been on his show, I think 9 times. This guy, John Lee Dumas, let me tell you, he has a podcast, and on the top right of his website, he actually tracks how much profit he's made for the month. This month alone, this man has generated $182,000 of income this month with his podcast, and he'll be speaking at the in-person Thrivetime Show workshop we have coming up in February, and then November 10th and 11th, we have the 2-day interactive workshop. And we have the way the workshop works is we kick off at 7 a.m., and then at 7:40, we take our first break, and then we open it up for questions. And then we do another session at 8, and then we open it up for questions, and then 9 and more questions. So you're getting over 15 hours of interactive training. We serve lunch both days, and you get to come to my office right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And I would say a little over 90% of the attendees are not from Tulsa, Oklahoma. You're going to have a blasty blast. My name's Clay Clark. I'm fired up to meet you. Get those tickets right now at thrivetimeshow.com, thrivetimeshow.com. I know it costs money to get to these events, but you can name your price. We want to make it affordable for you. You can get those tickets at thrivetimeshow.com.
The Thrivetime Show 2-day interactive business workshops are the highest and most reviewed business workshops on the planet.
You can learn the proven 13-point business systems that Dr. Zoellner and I have used over and over to start and grow successful companies. I mean, we get into the specific steps on what you need to do to optimize your website. We're going to teach you how to fix your conversion rate. We're going to teach you how to do a social media marketing campaign that works. How do you raise capital? How do you get a small business loan? We teach you everything you need to know here during a 2-day, 15-hour workshop. It's all here for you. You work every day in your business, but for 2 days you can escape and work on your business and build these proven systems so now you can have a successful company that will produce both the time freedom and the financial freedom that you deserve. You're going to leave energized, motivated, but you're also going to leave empowered. The reason why I've built these workshops is because as an entrepreneur, I always wish that I had this. And because there wasn't anything like this, I would go to these motivational seminars, no money down, real estate, Ponzi scheme, get motivated seminars, and they would never teach me anything. It was like you went there and you paid for the big chocolate Easter bunny, but inside of it, it was a hollow nothingness. And I wanted the knowledge, and they're like, oh, but we'll teach you the knowledge after our next workshop. And the great thing is we have nothing to upsell. At every workshop, we teach you what you need to know. There's no one in the back of the room trying to sell you some next big get-rich-quick, walk-on-hot coals product. It's literally, we teach you the brass tacks, the specific stuff that you need to know to learn how to start and grow a business. And I encourage you to not believe what I'm saying, and I want you to Google the Z66 auto auction. I want you to Google elephant in the room. Look at Robert Zoellner and Associates. Look them up and say, are they successful because they're geniuses, or are they successful because they have a proven system? When you do that research, you will discover that the same systems that we use in our own business can be used in your business. Come to Tulsa, book a ticket, and I guarantee you it's going to be the best business workshop ever, and we'll even give you your money back if you don't love it. We've built this facility for you, and we're excited to see you.